Thank you very much. It's a great honor that Michael and Kelly are here for a webinar. I should say it's not a webinar, it's a kind of short training. And we want to modular this training for different other regions because our regions have different timing. And IEEE has established STAR program, and IEEE REACH program is really very rich. We want to really see how we can collaborate between IEEE WIE and how we can utilize the content and the modules of IEEE REACH to encourage IEEE WA affinity group for enhance their IEEE WA STAR program. Actually, it is our educational outreach effort. Hope it will generate more interest in the root level. We have more than 29,000 IEEE WA members, around more than 1,100 WA affinity groups. It's a great program, WIE, and it is really important to share the resources between IEEE WA and IEEE REACH. With that motivation in mind, this topic, the social relevance of technology, how technology shapes society and how society shapes it, has been designed. I'm really honored to get Michael and Kelly for this webinar session. I'll be happy if Michael and Kelly self-introduce themselves. They have a great profile, and their profile has been well circulated through our IEEE Women in Engineering email burst. Thank you, and I welcome Michael and Kelly.
Thank you, Celia. We really appreciate the opportunity. Prachi, would you like to just do a quick housekeeping?
Yes, absolutely. Before Michael and Kelly give their introduction, welcome everybody. This webinar is going to be recorded, and we would request that if you have questions, please either put them in the chat box or save them for the last 5 to 10 minutes of the webinar. Go ahead, Michael.
Great, thank you so much. So as Celia said, I'm Mike Gazelowitz. I'm the Senior Director of the IEEE History Center. With me is Kelly McKenna, who's the Senior Program Manager of the IEEE REACH Program, which you're about to hear about. Next slide, please. Kelly, can you advance the slide? Or
I did. Are you not seeing it?
It hasn't come up on mine yet. There might be there it goes. There was a delay.
Okay.
So just briefly, again, bios I think were circulated. I'm a PhD public historian of technology. I'm also an IEEE senior member. I'm also a member of the Women in Engineering. I'll let Kelly introduce herself in a moment and take over. So why am I here? So and you can introduce Kelly when you take over. But REACH is a program of the IEEE History Center, even though it's an educational program, because the content, as you'll see, is historical. Also, I apologize if anyone was at the couple of weeks ago at the Women in Engineering Committee meeting. Celia graciously let me give a sort of a brief 10-minute quick teaser for this workshop. So you may have heard this part before, but when we get to the meat, I only was able to touch briefly on the content of the site, and Kelly's going to take you through in detail, and then we can discuss how it might integrate with the Women in Engineering STAR program. But the mission, so the History Center is guided by the History Committee, which is a committee of the Board of Directors of IEEE. And our mission of the volunteer staff partnership is to foster preservation of research and dissemination of information on the history of IEEE's technologies, and also IEEE itself, their members, professions, and industries. This we hope has a number of positive effects. REACH, Raising Engineering Awareness for the Conduit of History, reach.org, and we'll be showing you the website a lot as we go forward, is free, open online educational resources for pre-university teachers that uses the lens of history to explore the social context of technology, which, as Kelly will explain, is a critical part or I may explain, I'll see what's on the next slide, who's going to handle it, but a critical part of technological literacy. Next slide, please. Boy, my system is slow.
Huh.
Wait, there it is. Okay, so just a quick reminder, we have a whole bunch of activities in the History Center for preserving and making known the history of IEEE technologies, an oral history program, which we've also done some training with women in engineering, present histories, the milestones program, which is very well known, an archive, an exhibits program, lectures and conferences, and now most recently REACH. And I think we'll repeat this at the end, but most of our data, our information about the history of engineering is on a site called the Engineering Technology History Wiki, ethw.org. And we actually developed that, but now we run it for IEEE, but we run it for a consortium of engineering societies. It's Pan Engineering. It's a one-stop shop in history of engineering. It's got a wealth of great activity. It's of great information and data and everything. It has a very robust search engine, but we decided some time ago that in the pre-university context, that if you don't know what you're looking for, then a robust search engine doesn't really help you. But that there was a need for history of technology in the pre-university space. Next slide, please. Okay, so with that, so our solution to that was to come up with basically a product quote unquote, because it's free, a free program for secondary educators, though, as Kelly will explain, it could be used more broadly than that, but for secondary educators to use history of technology in the classroom, just pre-designed for them to sort of pull off the shelf. And not because at least certainly in the US context, teachers are very overworked and under resourced, and they can use all the tools they can get. And so this is something that we think was not being taught in the pre-university context, but that really, as Kelly will explain, has really important aspects to it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly. You can introduce yourself and then take it away.
All righty. Thank you so much, Mike. So again, my name is Kelly McKenna. I am the REACH Senior Program Manager. And as Mike shared, so REACH, actually the goal of REACH is to improve technology and engineering literacy skills as it relates to the social context of technology. It's a bit different than your traditional STEM programs. And it provides a new lens from which students may view engineering and technology as relevant to their lives and their future, which is really important as well. The program will enhance students' skills in problem solving, critical thinking, research, communication, collaboration. And the biggest thing for to share is that it really provides a new STEM education pathway, especially for girls. And I'll touch base on that here in a minute. I'm going to show you a brief video, and hopefully everybody will be able to see this.
When I look through this instrument on both the mirror side and the window side,
you'd use a saw like this to carve the ice into blocks that would then be stored.
We have our tune circuit here. We have our crystal detector here.
The activity part of it, getting them out of the desks and out of the classroom and moving around, they're happy to do that and are excited to do that.
And analyze the impacts of the trireme on Indian history. It really becomes complementary. It's a beautiful complement of history, society, technology, and learning.
Now I've got one page impression, but I need the second page.
You can take the decal off. There's your piece of paper. But Hertz thought them worth testing.
They use science to create it. They use prior knowledge to create it. What is it? Excellent. Thank you. Everybody, please write that down. Awesome job. Please write down. It shows the impact of technology on history.
So that'll give you a little idea of what the program is about. Actually, some of the video that you're seeing in there, these are videos that are attached to the program. And it is an interdisciplinary program. It actually reaches, it's good for STEM teachers, but it's also good for social studies teachers. So it can be used in both. Though the program was originally designed for world history focus, STEM teachers also utilize it as well, because the social relevance of technology is really important for students to understand. The target audience is middle school and high school teachers here in the United States. That's basically secondary educators, students in grades where the students' ages run anywhere from 12 to 18. And it's applicable for both in-person as well as also remote learning, because everything on the website is downloadable. And it's also good for both formal and informal education. And again, as I shared, so when I say that it addresses the social context of technology, it's basically understanding how technology throughout time impacts society, culture, politics, economics, and vice versa. That is what the program highlights and focuses. And so that is, in fact, the social relevance of technology. And when I share that, a recent research survey was done where it actually showed that students who perceive science as more socially relevant are in turn more likely to expect to major in STEM. In addition, as perceptions of the social relevance of science increase, girls' probabilities of expecting to major in STEM increase substantially. So REACH is really an excellent program that provides a STEM education pathway for girls, for females. It is standard aligned both in the United States as well as internationally. The standards that it meets in the United States are the social studies standards that are put out by the National Social Studies Organization, as well as also the United States Common Core. It also meets the next generation science standards here in the United States. And it, again, as I shared, it also meets international standards. There's an organization called the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association, and they put out standards that define technology and engineering literacy. And there are 3 core disciplines within these standards that actually look at, 1, the history of technology, the influence of society on technology development, and the impacts of technology. So again, it meets those international standards. These are all of the things that are included in the program, and I'm going to show you the website here in a minute. We include inquiry units, which are in fact lesson plans, primary source documents, which are original sources of evidence such as an artifact or a document or a recording that was actually created during the time of study. And we also have engaging video. And again, these are all free and downloadable. The videos are short. They're from 5 to 10 minutes long. We also provide hands-on activities. And the hands-on activities in the REACH program we try to keep it so that teachers don't have to get a lot of materials, or the materials that they would get for the hands-on activity are easy to obtain and economically feasible. We also provide background information for the teacher as well, because we recognize that STEM teachers, as well as also social studies teachers, may not have all of the information on the history of that specific technology that would allow them to feel comfortable to teach it. So this background information provides them with that context so that they feel comfortable bringing it into the classroom. And then we also provide additional resources, and these where REACH is actually talking about the why, if you will, of technology. Try Engineering, that many of you might be familiar with, teaches the how, right? The how to design. So we also link back to Try Engineering lesson plans that work with the REACH program. And it's all available online on the website. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. Let me go here and go to the website. And hopefully everybody can see the REACH website. Is it good?
Yep.
All righty, terrific. So here's the REACH website. And again, Mike will probably put in the, it's in the presentation on the REACH website. It's reach.ieee.org. And when you come to the website, you're going to come here and you're going to see inquiry units, primary sources, multimedia, and hands-on activities. And I'll come back to those. Then in here, you're going to have this slide bar. So in here, there are a couple of videos, like right here, you can watch the triremes unit being done in the classroom. To Engineer is Human, which is the video I shared with you, as well as also some other videos and information. But if you scroll further down, you're going to see these 9 topics. And so on. I will share with you that these 9 categories of context are the match succinctly 9 categories that are used in social studies themes in the United States, but it also matches the majority of STEM programs that are being taught. These are the areas that they typically focus on. Then if you scroll further down, you're going to see this today in history, which just are some tidbits of things that have happened today in history. So now I'm going to show you the inquiry units. So if I go back up to the top of the navigation bar and I hit on inquiry units, these are going to show you the 9 units that we currently have available. One on electronic music, the skyscrapers, electric lighting, the refrigerated rail car, drones, radio, the Greek triremes, which are ancient Greek ships, the tools of early maritime navigation, and the printing press. And again, as I shared, so how these are different, they also work in what we call an inquiry format, which is why they're called inquiry units, where you ask the students an overarching, compelling question that they may or may not be able to answer. That compelling question, they answer it to the best of their ability. And then there are supporting questions, and I'm going to show you that here now. So if I click on Learn More on Drones, and I scroll down, you're going to see this explains what the unit is, but then you're going to come here where the compelling question is. And actually this compelling question is, to what extent have unmanned aerial vehicles been used to benefit humanity? If you click on download unit, you're going to get the full lesson plan. So you ask students this compelling question. These are standards here. And then they're going to answer it to the best of their ability, but then we provide these supporting questions and we provide the context to answer these supporting questions, context you can give to the students so that they can answer this. By the time they're able to answer all 4 of these questions, they can much better come back to that overarching compelling question and better articulate it. So here you'll see the supporting question. 1 is, what is a UAV? What are its component parts? 2, what are the historical origins of this technology? How have they been used in both military and non-military applications? And then how might UAVs be used in the future in military and non-military applications? So again, that's how it connects to society. We also provide the teachers with formative performance tasks that they can actually do in the classroom. So here, design an ad for a modern UAV. Develop a timeline showing specific UAVs throughout history. Then create a mock company or a nonprofit organization that uses UAVs to accomplish its mission. So we give the teacher everything they need. We also provide featured sources that you can see here. These featured sources, though, are the sources that the historians use to research the unit. So if a teacher wants to delve deeper, they can go to these links. If you scroll further down, you're going to actually see a summative performance task, as well as also a taking informed action. So the summative performance task is an extension to the overarching compelling question. And then this taking informed action is very important because this is what ties the material back to the students' lives today. So in this lesson, it's actually research 1 future use of UAVs being currently developed, then assess to what extent this future application of UAVs will benefit humanity. And then based on your assessment of its future impact, develop a marketing campaign to either promote it or oppose this intended application of UAVs. So it again ties it back to today. So it's not just all about history. As I scroll further down, you're actually going to see this just explains the model of how this unit is formatted. Then you're going to see this staging the question. And this is all downloadable in a PDF, so you can break this apart by pages. The staging the question can then be handed out to the students, and it gives them a bit of the background on the history of drones. If you scroll further down, you're going to see all these printed documents. So like this inquiry unit is probably 40 pages. We don't expect teachers to use it all, but you're going to see document 1A, document 1B, document 1C. Anything with document 1 goes back to supporting question 1. So it's the context that student needs to answer that question. Then it follows through. Document 2, same thing. So here, for example, I have document 1A. This is a printed document. It's an excerpt, so a teacher can hand that out to the students. If I scroll further down, you're going to see document 1B. So this is still going to supporting question 1. So this is all about the smart bomb. Then here you're going to see different drones. Then if I scroll all the way, I'm going to scroll down till I get to a 2 here. And hopefully everybody's seeing this okay. So this one here actually is an excerpted document on the trebuchet, because in history it goes all the way back to trebuchets with regards to propulsion and the counterweight mechanisms, etc. So then you come down to document 2B. So again, this now is going to supporting question 2. This talks about balloon bombs, the Kettering bug, etc. So again, it's pretty extensive. Now we don't expect the teachers to use the entire unit. They can pick, and it was designed so they can pick and pull which of these documents actually work best for them with their classroom and their students. So I'm going to close this here. So I'm back to where we started, from inquiry units to drones to download the unit. If I then scroll further down, this is where you're going to find that teacher background information. And again, this is downloadable as a PDF, so a teacher can print it or put it on an external hard drive that they can use in the classroom. Then if you scroll further down, you're actually going to see these 3 big buttons here. And if you click on those, that's going to give you the multimedia or the videos that tie directly back to this unit. So if I click on multimedia, it's going to show the videos that go to that unit. Most of them have 2 videos or more. This one only has 1 video. So if you click on drones from Civil War to today and click on learn more, that's going to actually take you to the video. So you can download the video, you can play it from here. And again, this video is 4 minutes. It addresses drones, touches on a bunch of different things. And again, it's 5 minutes. It's used to engage the students. Think of them as short historical docs, if you will, documentaries. So I'm going to go back again to where we were. So back to the 3 big buttons. Now, if I click on primary sources, those are those artifacts or documents that are original during the time period that's being studied. So for example, we have a primary source on the buzz bomb blitz, on Denny's radio model tested airplane, German World War I observation balloon. So if I click on learn more, that is then going to take me to where I can download this as a PDF, and there's a photograph, or I can visit the source, which actually takes you to the archive where that is housed in digital form. So here, this one is actually at the Library of Congress, so the students can see it virtually if they have a computer on their screens, and then it tells all about the item, what it is, when it was published. And again, this helps in doing some critical thinking and analyzing where these sources come from, etc. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. So I was back here. I'm going to go back again. So those are the primary sources. And then if I click on hands-on activities, that is actually going to show a hands-on activity for this unit. So as I shared, these are, some of them are more complicated than others, but this one here is very simple. Excuse me. It actually has the students create a civilization, if you will, inside a shoebox. And in that shoebox, they make things that are people, houses, utility wires. Then they have other students come in and take a look at that shoebox, but from a different angle where they, they can see what's in it. So like, here's an example of it. So students can come in and take a look at what's all in that civilization, if you will. Then another group of students come by and knock it over like a hurricane came through. The third group of students then come with their phones. They do not look at it from the front of the box, but from the back of the box, and they use their phone over that opening and video so that they can see what got damaged, just like a drone might do. Very simple, but it gives them a concept and an idea. Now, granted, you might be saying, well, that's not true STEM and design. No, it's not, because we're talking about the social implications. However, if I go back, whoops, I went too far back. Let me go back to my drones unit here. If I go to learn more, so I'm back to that unit, right, where the inquiry unit is, background information, and then I clicked on the hands-on activity. Now you will see here these interdisciplinary and other source materials. And if you click on view link, that is actually going to take you to Try Engineering's designing of drones. So it's truly interdisciplinary. And a teacher doesn't have to search all over the internet. It's all in one spot. So I'm going to stop there. The other beautiful thing about the program is that teachers can also, if I go back to the opening page of the website, or let me go into primary sources. So teachers can also search this by topic, which are those 9 categories that I showed you in the very beginning. They can search it by era, and they can also search it by geography. And they can do this with all of these materials, the inquiry units, the primary sources, the multimedia. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so we're back at the PowerPoint here. So that gives you everything that is available on the REACH program. So very easy for a teacher to implement it. These are just all of the units. This is an explanation of the inquiry design and how it works, the teacher background information, primary sources, the hands-on activities, multimedia. Now I'm going to show you a brief video of it actually being used in the classroom, and I hope everybody can see this.
How would you describe navigation?
Like
Right.
getting around is the proper way.
What's proper?
Like not getting lost.
So getting around without getting lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knowing where to go,
Knowing where to go.
finding the best way from point A to point B.
Best way from point A to point B. There's an added value when it comes to something like this because they're so reliant on GPS and their phones and not knowing anything about sense of direction that it brings the challenges of the real world prior to even something that they might not even consider to be technology because they don't, technology to them is a phone, not a compass. So they understand the history of technology, but they also understand the evolution of it and why it was so necessary.
Today, we're going to be looking at navigation and how we get places and how that kind of relates to world history and kind of the things we've been studying all year.
It's eye-opening for a lot of the students and for me too, to see how interconnected global power is with STEM and navigation.
We took just a regular sewing needle. You guys notice the difference between, I'll point it that way. So north, south, right? We struck the needles over and over and over again on the south side so that the needle would point north. So we're going to do some stuff outside. First, you guys have to be able to get from point A to point B with no compass, blindfolded, after we spin you around. Then we're going to give you a compass.
You're going to grab your compass, and I want you to look at where you have to go and look at your compass, and you're going to have to use that to get there.
You got there.
Using an example from class this year, explain why the sea has been crucial to the fate of nations, empires, and civilizations, and what role STEM has played in this.
Different countries were going around and trying to expand trade and have more ships.
Bringing the technology into the room I thought was great because it allowed them a hands-on activity. So they understood why it was so difficult using the bowl and the needle with the magnet. And then they also made the connection to how it's used today and the impact of it.
So that'll give you an idea of the program being used. That was the tools of early maritime navigation being used in the classroom. And that one, as shown in the video, actually the students make a rudimentary compass. So the next thing I just wanted to share is that IEEE REACH has, through the IEEE UNESCO MOU, has been working with UNESCO with assistance from the IEEE Africa Council, the Uganda section. We actually co-branded a pilot program in Uganda. We worked with a NGO on the ground who took the resources and looked at them to ensure and adjust them so that they could meet the Uganda's national curriculum standards. And then the program was delivered to students. Now the program is for teachers, but it was delivered to students in the classroom and by way of a traveling classroom trailer. Our implementation partner, which was the NGO on the ground, actually did this. And more than 70 teachers and approximately 1,000 students were impacted. And it really was very successful. And I'm going to show you a video, another video here that's a testimonial from our on-the-ground partner as to what the program did. This was also, the students, like I said, were predominantly girls. And one of the real interesting things that was shared with me is that it was an informal education program. It went about a week long. The girls would go home and they bring back their friends. So we know they were interested in it, and they did learn, the context of it. So the program then also expanded. The Uganda National Commission for UNESCO actually invited us to present at a STEM teachers workshop, which is where the program is really valuable because it's developed for teachers so that they can bring this into the classroom to reach more students. Excuse me. So the Uganda Ministry of Education was actually in attendance for this STEM teachers workshop, and they are now currently using the program, both its format as well as also the resources, in a top-down teacher approach because they recognize its value as well. Excuse me. We're working with other organizations in Africa as well. And I share this with you because the program can be used and done like this across the globe. We just take partners to do that. So like I shared, we worked with the IEEE Africa Council, with the Uganda section, with an NGO on the ground. So we can do that with the STAR program as well. I mean, with the STAR program, you can actually just bring it to teachers and share with them the program. However, we can also do some of these STEM teachers workshops, kind of like what I'm doing for you here now. Both in person on the ground if we work with an NGO, as well as also Mike and I can actually do a portion of that virtually. So, and again, it's been so successful that UNESCO actually wants to expand the program, both through Africa as well as through its global networks. So again, this is what I share with you, how we can work together with the STAR program. REACH, as previously shared, can be used by teachers as a way to interest students in STEM, especially girls. IEEE REACH materials, they're already developed, so they can be used by the WIE Affinity Group to implement the STAR program by sharing this resource with the teachers that you are working with. And as I just shared, we can also create webinars in a joint effort between WIE and REACH and train. We could also train the affinity group leaders. Not sure if this video is going to be used as part of that, but we can do that as well. You can always feel free to reach out to me. Michael will put in my email in the chat box. And again, through a joint effort, we can also do webinars that can be created and presented to society liaison, to educate your society liaisons about the REACH program and try to get some outreach going there in a STAR REACH kind of pre-university outreach initiative. And the other thing is that by bringing this to the societies, we can work with the societies themselves on potential new REACH content that would match their technologies. This would require the society to provide some fiscal support. We are a donor-funded program, and we are extremely grateful to our donors. And it all is done through the IEEE Foundation, insofar as with the donor funds. But again, it can be done for a pre-university level outreach for the societies as well. Now I'm going to share with you, I believe I have time. I'm going to share with you another brief video. This is a testimonial by Marianne Karamagi. She is actually the CEO of Silverbolt, which is the NGO that we worked with in Uganda, who implemented the program on the ground. And I think it speaks volumes. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Hello, I'm Marianne Karamagi, CEO of Silverbolt Limited. We are a team inspiring youth to pursue careers in science and engineering so that as a country, we can achieve higher levels of advancement and development right from the community levels. We do this through supplemental education, skilling, mentorship, and supporting of the budding innovators and youth in our country. We believe we are patiently nurturing the next generation of computer and engineering professionals. In effect, we are educating the workforce for tomorrow. We joined IEEE and UNESCO as an implementing partner for the IEEE REACH Africa Roadshow in Uganda, focusing on raising engineering awareness through the conduit of history. And we did this specifically for the youth and women in underserved communities. History generally gives us a better understanding of the world that we live in, but IEEE REACH is doing this from the science and engineering angle. In effect, it is making the role that engineering has played in the advancement of mankind extremely evident in our lives. After our continuous interactions with the REACH team, we noticed that this is not just a history class. IEEE REACH is a platform for youth to discover, for them to pick inspiration, and for them to know how to take opportunities in order to advance their interests in technology and innovation. IEEE REACH is not just history, it is inspiration. Evidently, the best way to learn is through studying the successes and failures of the specific industry that you're in. This is what we exposed the ladies to. We had ladies from all fields, those who had been exposed to engineering before, those who hadn't, those who had interest and those who didn't have interest. And many of them at the beginning were quite unsure of what they were yet. They saw was an opportunity and they came to learn. But by the end of the day, we could clearly see that something had clicked. Because come the next day, we had the same teams coming back and with more people encouraging their friends to come in. Once they were exposed to the history, the challenges, the solutions, and further given the hands-on activities where they inevitably had to go through the technologies by stages and see why we are where we are today, they knew this was the place for them to be. And that's what drove our continuous engagement with the girls. REACH did give them a starting point. They started to see their world from a different perspective. The things that were always challenges and looking to others to solve, suddenly think that they are the ones who can solve it. And they had somewhere they could start after picking inspiration from those before them. The team at Silverbolt loved every bit of this. And to be honest, we started integrating REACH content into our curriculum, especially after experiencing firsthand the impact or level of impact it can have on the learner. This is because we believe REACH is a viable formula for impacting knowledge, growing inspiration, and sparking interest. But most of all, it creates very high levels of awareness of engineering. We are truly honored. And we thank IEEE, UNESCO, the IEEE REACH team, Kelly and Mike, the Smart Girls team. Thank you all. It was a pleasure.
So this is that's a video testimonial. Hopefully everybody was able to hear that okay. It speaks volumes about the program. This is how you can follow Reach on social media. There's also a sign up there for our newsletter, as well as also the Reach website. I'll come back to this slide in a minute so you can see it. But with that, I would like to go ahead and open it up for questions.
So Kelly, this is my two things. First of all, I'm still seeing the end of the video.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. But while you're fixing that, while people are gathering their thoughts for questions, and I guess probably people should put the questions in the chat. And is that the best way to do it?
Either they can put the questions in the chat or raise their hand using the raise hand feature, and I can then unmute them.
Okay, so prior to any of that, so in the meantime, I wanted to make a couple of additional points. Thank you, Kelly, for that great demonstration of the site. So first of all, I don't remember Kelly mentioned it or not. Everything is completely downloadable. All the text and images are downloadable as PDF, and the videos are downloadable in multiple formats. The idea is, if there are places that are bandwidth challenged, you can download it onto a personal device and then bring that personal device and play everything off the personal device, or even print out everything, or however best you want to use it. Second point is that even though the units in some sense are complete, they're also meant to be modular. So if you're doing already, and as part of the STAR program, some kind of thing in the classroom where you're talking about, let's say that you're a GPS engineer, you could, to enhance the student's experience, again, given this context that's so important, you could show them the video, just a short video that shows how modern GPS relates to the older navigation techniques, the same principles of triangulation, or one of the videos that just shows the impact of improved navigation on the economy or politics or what have you. So it could be just used piecewise to enhance what you're doing. And the other thing in terms of partnerships is, so you notice the hands-on activities, as Kelly said, are all designed to be very, first of all, simple and straightforward. They're not complicated design things, to get the students sort of thinking, also help tactile learners, get students out of their seats, but they get them thinking about how technology fits into the bigger picture. But you can do more about the science and technology if you want. So in the Reaching the Classroom, early maritime navigation, you saw the teacher just saying, okay, I'm going to magnetize a needle by rubbing it against a permanent magnet to make a compass. If he was a history teacher, if he was partnering with a STEM teacher, that it could be a unit, part of that unit, or the next day or day before, explaining, electromagnetism and why, when you rub a steel, a conductor against a permanent magnet, that it becomes magnetized. So there's a lot of opportunity. And again, we do link back where appropriate to tri-engineering. So there are some lesson plans and some hands-ons there. But even with a little creativity, the Reach materials can be used in a variety of ways. So I've rambled on long enough. That's stalled. So hopefully you've got your thoughts together. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Again, Prachi said either put it in the chat, she's on the chat, or else raise the hand on the raise hand function, and she's also monitoring that. I'm not seeing any hands or any chats. So let me just throw Kelly's email. Maybe some people would rather ask questions offline. So I'm putting Kelly's email back in the chat because it went up several levels before. And I guess I'll turn it back to Prachi for any wrap up about when the video will be available, where and how the video is available, or that kind of thing.
Michael, there's a question from Lynn here. in the chat box?
Yes. So thank you for that question, Lynn. So actually, one of our challenges with the REACH program, especially since we work with the IEEE Foundation to fund it philanthropically, is getting metrics of exactly, you know, who and how and why is using the site, because it's free, right? We're giving it away. There's an optional newsletter sign up. I urge you all to go on the site. And up in the right corner, you'll see an opportunity to sign up for the newsletter, which will give you updates anytime something happens on the site. Or we send out monthly things like for Women's History Month or that kind of thing. And also, if you stay on the site enough, you'll get a pop-up, an annoying pop-up urging you to sign up for the newsletter. So we have surveyed our newsletter subscribers, and we know actually, even though this is designed for sort of 12 to 18-year-old students, you know, that may be different grade designations in different national systems. But we do know that some teachers are using it for younger students by chunking it down and just picking the pieces they think are more appropriate. And we do know that university professors are using it for introductory engineering courses. So that's a long-winded way to say yes. The materials are suitable, right? There's not really, depending on where you teach and what you teach, there might not be that much difference between a high school junior or senior and a college fresh person. So absolutely, in terms of showing the historical and social context of a particular technology you're working on. Again, let's take the example of GPS navigation or of something, an introduction to robotics, and you want then using the drones unit. There definitely is material there.
Also, I just was going to say too, I'd welcome any kind of feedback with regards to the program, as well as also if anybody at this point has any feedback as to how we could work together with regards to both the STAR program and REACH, if you can envision using this.
Or other programs you may be involved in through your own either professional or volunteer activity that revolves around either history and social studies education, probably can shoot, but more likely for this audience, and we do a lot of different. We presented just last week to the social studies supervisors in the state of Arizona. But any STEM, you know, and any STEM kind of programs you're involved in, this is completely adaptable. You're very welcome, Lynn.
And again, I'd share to please reach out to me if you do happen to have any questions, as well as also as shared doing some of these webinars for districts or for a group. We're happy to do that.
If anybody has a question, please type your question in the chat box now, or if not, Celia, do you have a closing remark?
Well, Prachi, before Celia does the closing remarks, when and how will the recording be available?
We'll try to make the recording available within a week or so, and we can share it with all the registered attendees.
Okay, just checking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael and Kelly. It has been a wonderful presentation. However, it would have been great. We have a big community. We'll try our best to post this recording to our different groups as Prachi will be deciding, so that it can reach out to many members. And of course, we will try to reach out to them, sharing this recording so that they get benefited. The most important thing is that sharing the resources between the organizational units of IEEE. IEEE REACH really shows the high potential of utilizing the resources, and the people who have joined today are the ambassadors. I can consider them ambassadors of IEEE WIE and IEEE REACH. Please go back to your community and share this information. However, if you need any help, you can reach out to us so that we can make it implemented in your community to benefit the root level volunteers. So thank you, Michael and Kelly, for this wonderful presentation, and thank you, Prachi and Faith, for making all the arrangement. So see you next time. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sia. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks to everyone for attending. For those who are US based, have a great Memorial Day holiday, and we hope to hear from you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.